What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to The Climb Season 2. We are here. I just want to say thank you so much on the first season, all the love, all the support. I really appreciate it all. Today we have Houston Mallette, good friend of mine, D1 commit. We're talking about basketball, hoop culture, and just mentality and everything like that. I just hope you guys enjoy. Thank you. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to The Climb. Today we got a special guest, Houston Mallette, my good friend. How you doing, bro?
Doing great, man. Doing great.
All right, let's get into it. So, D1 commit. Congratulations on that. That's
Appreciate
big
it, my boy.
ups. Big ups. I just want to say, that's pretty good achievement. I mean, I don't know if you had any expectations for yourself, like in basketball at all, especially your freshman year. But if you can kind of just talk about if you felt at freshman year like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to reach like that peak of getting a D1 scholarship, and if you could just talk about what that did to your mental to see that, oh, I'm getting these D1 offers.
Yeah, so I'll kind of talk to you about my journey a little bit. So I grew up in the Bay Area in Oakland, California, Alameda, California. I ended up going to high school called Salesian College Preparatory in Richmond. So while I was there, I attended that school 1 year. As a freshman, we had a great roster. I mean, think about 4 or 5 guys on that team went Division I, as well as multiple guys went D2. So and more will continue to go D1 coming from my class. So that team had just so much talent. When I got there, played varsity in the summer, and then ended up making the varsity team. Was the last guy to make it out of 15 guys. So I started off at the very bottom. And I remember the day I made it, I almost teared up because I was just so happy to be there. I was so happy to make it. And during that time, I was about 5'10", maybe 130 pounds. So I was really, really fragile, skinny. And so I got my butt kicked in practice all the time. All the time. I had James Akinjo, who is a guard, just declared for the draft. So hoping he gets drafted. I had 2 twins, Jovan and Jaden McClanahan, that were there. They're both, one's at Hawaii, one's at Utah Valley. So those are both D1. There was another kid in my class on the team, DeMarsha Johnson. He said at the SDSU. Shane Bell and Jane Lazo both went Division II to Cal State LA. And Tyler Brinkman went JUCO and now is about to go probably D1, D2. So, I mean, there was a ton of talent on that team. And so when I got there, I struggled a lot. I wasn't big enough. I wasn't strong enough. And then I found my niche, which was going out there and just playing as hard as possible, diving on the floor, taking charges, and, just making open threes, shots. And that's kind of what I found. So then moving on to the next year, my sophomore year, I ended up transferring to Pacifica Christian in Southern California. And my dad ended up getting a job at UC Riverside. So that's why I moved at first. So my dad got the job in April. So I was living with my godparents for about 3 or 4 months before I ended up moving down here and transferring. So I get here, I transferred 3 days before the school year starts, get to school. It's a whole different atmosphere. And then I got my first Division I offer the first day of school. So from Eastern Washington, and I appreciate Coach Leggins for that. But it's crazy. But just dreaming as a kid, I just wanted to play at the highest level. I wanted to play Division I basketball. I grew up around UC Berkeley, Cal's team with Jaelin Brown, Justin Cobbs, Richard Solomon, Ivan Rabb, and those are guys I just looked up to. So I wanted to play at that level. And then eventually, when I started seeing more and more offers coming, I'm how can I do it? How high can I go? And I just push every day. I want to be a professional in the sport of basketball, play in the NBA, play overseas. I want to play at the highest level there is. And so I just dedicate my body and mind every day to it. And I just try to stay in the moment. So I'm finishing out my high school senior year right now, but just staying in the moment of being at school and just playing with my guys, my team, and just trying to help win games. But that's kind of that's my journey of getting scholarship offers and stuff like that.
Yeah, I liked especially if we can, you got an offer from Penn State.
Oh yeah.
Junior year, right?
Yeah, I got that. I got that my junior year, yes, sir.
Yeah, junior year. You made this great video of like just detailing, you were young and you always had like dreams of hoop. You were telling me this too, that you always
Yeah.
you kind of knew that you wanted to just go out and do it. And
Yeah.
so you commit verbally
Mhm.
to Penn, and then I know there was a coaching issue. I wasn't sure on the
Yeah, yeah.
terms, but
Yeah. You want me to explain that?
yeah, if you
Explain what
could,
happened?
that'd be
Yeah,
great.
yeah. So I commit to Penn State May 15th of 2020. So right in the middle of COVID, um, like during the whole outbreak, and I was super excited. I mean, I had grown a relationship with the head coach, Coach Pat Chambers, and Coach Erga, and they're great humans, and I had a great relationship with the both of them. So um, I was set to go, and then I guess a racial issue came up um, with my coach in the month of July or August. And so he had called me in July and August, and he's like, yes, I said these things. Um, how I feel about it has nothing to do about the situation, but um, in the context of what he said, he was trying to help the kid. Um, it wasn't confrontational. He was just trying to help it, and he just used the poor choice words.
Yeah,
But I did not know he was going to lose his job, and we talked on the phone, and we were pretty positive that he wasn't going to lose a job. I mean, I knew it was national headlines, stuff like that. But I had known him as a man. I know he had coached many Black players before, many African Americans, and I don't believe he's a racist man. And
yeah,
I believe he loves everybody for everybody. He's a follower of Jesus, and we grow close to that. So fast forward to November, I get a call from him. I miss it because we were practicing, and then I get a call from my dad, and my dad and I, my dad says Barakoff, and I need to get in my car. So I walk to my car, and they tell me that in 2 hours, Penn State's about to put a release out saying they're going to fire Pat Chambers, or
yeah,
he was going to resign. Sorry, wrong choice of words. He was going to resign from his coaching position, and this is about 2 weeks before signing day, like 2 weeks. And it was pretty much a forced resignation, and so I sat there with Coach and I cried because like I loved him, I loved the program,
yeah.
and
Mhm.
I unfortunately missed his call to be able to hear it from him. But it was heartbreaking for me. I was upset. Um, but then in my life, I deal with a lot of adversity just growing up. So I dwelled on it for 24 hours, and then next day I was like, well, what's next? What's next? And so going into that about Pepperdine, I had called Coach Romar, and Coach Romar, Pepperdine and St. Mary's were both equal for number 2 on my list, but I had grown just a better relationship with Coach Romar, and I trust Coach Romar. In what we've talked about, the meetings he's given, that I sit down, he's put a lot of time into me, and I just heard so much about just about him as a man and about a lot of players. He's coached players at the highest level, and he's gotten players about $630 million in contracts, either in the NBA or overseas. So that was something that really caught my attention. But uh, regardless of that, the reason why I wanted to commit to him is just like we just built this relationship that was very personal, and I had for since they offered me my sophomore year. So for about 2 years, I'd grown this relationship with him. So I had called him, and he was in practice, and he had picked up my call, and I said, my coach at Penn State resigned. Like, I'd love to talk forward about like if you guys have any spots left on the team, just because scholarships get taken up, especially with
Yeah,
COVID. Coaches can't come see us ever. You know what I mean? So I end up just calling him and just telling him that I'm ready to commit. Um, And so during that time, I'd also talked to Porter Moser from Loyola Chicago, who's now at Oklahoma. He just got a great job at Oklahoma, but I also built a great relationship with him. So that's pretty much how the Penn State to like Pepperdine, I guess, thing worked out. It was crazy just because 2 weeks before, like, I'm supposed to sign and go to my school, I end up decommitting. My scholarship was still there at Penn State, but the whole point of why I committed to Penn State was for
the coach,
because Pat Chambers was going to be there. The head coach had been the most important person in this process, was the head coach.
Yeah, that I imagine that's hard, especially like you were so wanting to go to that school, and that was what it was. And I imagine that's tough. Sorry to hear that, but you're going to a great school now, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Great school, great coach, great athletic department, and I love the guys all on the team. I know some of them. I grew up with some of them, and you know, they're right here. They're about an hour and a half away, so like, I'm not too far. So I'll be able to see my family, and you guys at Pacifica. I'll be back a lot. So yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah, that's good. And I just want to get into, you know, your mentality and anything like that. You're a very hardworking person, and who would you say often has the best principles when you look at mentality or just work ethic or anything like that?
Yeah, you know, that's a great question, because there's a lot of guys. Like, there's a lot of guys that are a lot different. Usually people think of the Michael Jordans, the Kobe Bryants, the Tom Brady's of the world, you know what I mean? But me, I honestly, I read a lot. So I'm reading a book right now. My favorite player ever is Larry Bird. And I'm reading his biography, like, about Larry Bird. It's called Drive. And, you know, like, I just see how hard and tough he played, and how hardworking, and how he played through injuries. He got bored of scoring with his right hand, so he ended up dropping like 30 something with his left, which is ridiculous. But
ridiculous.
Yeah, ridiculous, bro. But when I look at mentality, you know, like, dang, like, I can talk about my mentality, but when, like, I look at these guys, like, I just take something from everybody. Like, I feel like with all the people you meet and all the people you study, I study a lot of film, read a lot of books, read a lot of articles on different people. Like, there's something you can take from each person. And so when I look at it, like, you know, that's a great question, because it's difficult, because how do you go about it? How do you, like, make your own imprint in the world? But my mentality is, like, as great as I want to be, I think the greatest act in the world is to inspire. So the little things I do, whether that be working out, I work out after every game, win or lose, because it's got to be consistent. So there's just things I do. I take care of my body, making sure I'm eating right. And when I'm on the court, I just play like an animal. I'm not the highest jumper in the world. I'm not the most skilled guy in the world, you know. But I think the one thing I do best is I make others better. I bring the level of energy up, and, you know, I play my ass off. So I think that's what I do best, is when I go out there and do those things. So my mentality is I want to make others better, as well as myself. So that means when I'm working out, I want other guys to see that and be like, oh, I want to work out. And then just being an underdog, you know, I struggled with financially growing up. I'm in a much better place now, thanks to my dad and my stepmom. But, you know, just coming from a single parent household, and, you know, my mom living here and my dad living here, it just taught me to grind. And I'm just a grinder, man. Like, I love being in the gym. It's my happy place. It's where I'm at. So when I'm in there, it's like, you know, how much do you love it? How much do you love it? Because a lot of guys get tested. Especially when you have to run sprints, especially when the going gets tough. Like, how mentally tough are you to stay locked in throughout how bad you're playing? You know what I mean? Throughout when you're losing, when you're winning. Like, Barakoff always says, like, there's highs and lows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's highs and lows. If you can just remain center, that's the person who wins at the end of the day. So I think just to cap that off, going with my mentality, my way to college was through a scholarship. That's how I was going to go to college. And so I just worked my tail off to try and get that scholarship so my parents didn't have to worry about, paying for that education because I didn't want to put that stress on them. So next up is once I do get there, the next goal is like how well can I be there? How well can I be? And then looking forward, like how can I help set up my family, my kids in the future, my sisters. So my thing is I'm all about others. And I'm not gonna lie, like I'm a tough leader. I'm tough, but like I wouldn't demand anything. I wouldn't demand anything from anybody else that I wouldn't demand for myself. So that's one thing. There's just got to be levels. Like you can be intense, and I find myself just being intense like all the time when it comes to leading and wanting like. Sometimes you just gotta you gotta let off a little bit just with different groups. So I would say that's my mentality.
Yeah. Is that what you feel most struggling when you're leading your team, let's say, is just being not too intense, but finding that I can't be everybody, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I see what you mean. I'm a very intense guy. I'm very straightforward. The way I was coached growing up and I was raised parented, I was like told things like in a direct manner. So like I was never really a sensitive kid, but as a society, perception is reality. So when you're leading, you can't be too much of kind of like an a-hole, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that's what I am, but a lot of guys try and lead by just always having their foot on the gas. And I find myself to do that too. But at the end of the day, you have to help those who's your group. And our group this year is young, and our group hasn't really had that varsity experience yet. So my goal this year is I just want these guys to play as hard as possible, regardless of making a shot. Because I think the ball has energy, the basketball game has energy. So if you're playing harder, you have more likely to make shots. You have more likely to dish, do all those things, you know what I mean? So I know these guys are going to be way better next year when I'm gone because they would have had that year under their belt, But I love every single guy on the team. And so it's just about building a personal connection with them and seeing how much I can bring out of them, how to talk to them, how to do all these different things is what I'm learning because that's life, you know what I mean? If I go into a job interview and I'm supposed to be a boss one day, and I'm sorry I say boss because I feel like there's a difference between leader and boss. I look at leader as someone who has a personal connection with people, and a boss is someone who kind of just runs it and acts any type of way because they're in that position of power. But, I have the coaches. I don't like hierarchy. I don't expect special attention. I just want to go out there and compete, and I want the guys to go out there and compete, and I love each and every one of them. So, it's just about building that personal connection with them. Because once I build that personal connection with them, which I feel like I've done off the court, then it's about building a personal connection with them on the court. And that's why, I know you're not playing this year, but from you in the past, I would talk to you about how's life going, how's this happening, and try and build that relationship off the court so you can trust me. Once you trust me on the court, I demand a lot of you, but it's coming from a place of love. And so that's pretty much all where it comes from. Like I said, I want everybody to feel loved. And I want them to be, excited and just love the game of hoops. And so that's what we're trying to find this year. It's just been heartbreaking losses so far, but that's my goal because at the end of the day, I want to build something. Like when I got to Pacific, I wanted to build something. I wanted to build winning culture. I wanted to win championships. And although I haven't won championships, I built not me personally, but you know what I mean? Like Barakov and the staff, we've all built this winning culture. That preaches the right things, we don't want to be looked at like we treat people the way we treat people, how we act off the court, how we act in the classroom, how we act towards our friends, how we act towards our parents, that all ties in. And so as a leader, I can't have a bad practice where my energy's down. I can't I can't let that down because guys see that and then they feel, well, like he's not doing it, I can't do it. So those are just things I pride myself in when leading. You know, I'm still young. I'm trying to figure it out, but like at the end of the day, like whether I yell, whether I laugh, whether I smile, whether I coach, like it's all from a place of love and no selfishness. I want the best out of you. When you're out there, I want you to play your best. Regard, like I want that for you. And I know you want that, but that's what I want for you. I want you to love it. You know what I mean? I want you to just play free. And that playing free and loving it and playing good doesn't mean making shots to me. It's like doing the little things, making extra pass, rebounding, blocking out, those things, diving on the floor. And then once those things start to click, we all start to click. And then my favorite part, like every game, like there's a favorite part. I feel like Salim Saman has done a fantastic job because he's just playing with so much passion and love. And then you see us on the bench, like cheering and flexing, like, and one, like everybody as a whole. That's the stuff I love. That's the building moments. Because then next year, when Salim has a year on varsity, Tanner, Rian's more in a role comfortably, all these guys are in more roles, you know what I mean? Then it's like that's where the specialness happens. Where the special happens. That's where guys get better. Because at the end of the day, we can be good this year, but my goal is for them to be good the next year and the next year and the next year by building that culture. Because it's not about me. It's about us. It's about everybody else. And so, you know, that's the important thing. You know?
Yeah, that's really interesting you say that because now I've kind of taken a step back from hoops. I don't know, I haven't really made a decision on it yet, but I don't think that they realize what like how much of an asset they have in you as a leader, because you have such a good character, especially like because you're relatively the same on and off the court. Just on the court, there's more of a focus. You know what I mean? And I feel like they're gonna hold some things that you say, and they're in a great spot right now.
I think so too. Yeah, I think this year we have just a great like this year I'd say out of any year. Last year we had 6-7 seniors, so of course we're gonna have that bond. This year it's great to see a bond in such young guys. Like everybody can talk to everybody, and this is including me. Like it's great to see that. And you know, we're just going through growing pains on the court. We're going through growing pains, and this is how you get better, because you can't expect last year to happen this year, just like you can't expect this year to happen last year. You know, it all plays hand in hand. So I look at it like I want to be the best like leader that these guys have. I want to be a friend. I want to be like a brother to these guys, which means that you hold your brothers accountable as well as love on them, as well as your heart on them. It's just a balance of everything. But it's all about courage, man. It's all about courage. And, you know, I'm gonna miss you guys. And I know you're still figuring out what you're gonna do, but you've done a hell of a job in theater, and you had a hell of a performance. I don't know how you go on stage, man. Like that's a different beast. I can't be the center of like I feel like I would freeze. But you know, it's just all like I want each and every person to have a like individual relationship with me, where they can talk to me about how they feel. They can talk to me about a girl they like, you know me, I'm goofy, bro. I like teasing. I like being like who you like who you want, you know what I mean? You feel me? So like that's the type of leader I am. Like I know that guys love me. And like that's what I'm excited about, because I know they know I love them. And you know, that's the special thing. That's why I think we can be really good this year. But then on top of that, like they can be even better next year and better than next year, because they're building this bond early and they're doing all the little things. And the little things is what helps win games. The little things is what builds winning culture. And that's what we've done here at Pacifica and at Pacifica Hoops. We've done the little things, you know. We high-fived. When there's someone there, when there's a teacher there, when there's a kid there who's looking to come, we greet them. We say, hi, my name is this, so-and-so. And we treat everyone equally. No matter, it doesn't matter who you are. We treat everyone with the same respect and everyone equally. Because at the end of the day, we're all humans. You know? No matter if you got 100 million followers, no matter if you're the richest person on earth, we're all humans. We're all supposed to love each other. And that, you know, that agape, like that doesn't just apply to the team. That applies to our school and the people we talk to. And it's about like taking responsibility and being mature in these decisions.
Yeah, all great things there, man. It's great. I just want to hit you with one final kind of deeper question.
Yeah.
Do you feel you would have been in the same spot had you not grown up like you did? Do you feel that that's shaped you in some sort of way?
Yeah. How I grew up shaped me, it definitely, the way I was raised, my parents did a phenomenal job, my mom included, my dad included, they did a phenomenal job, it was tough sometimes, just having to go through that divorce and then struggling financially at times. Like, I don't want to get too into that because that's just personal.
Of course
but
not.
yeah. But I'm not afraid to say that. But it definitely shaped me. It shapes how I live. It shapes how I treat people. It shapes like to be thankful and appreciative. Because a lot of times in life when we don't act grateful and we're not appreciative of things until like it's taken away. And I feel like a lot of us saw that in COVID because we didn't know what was going to happen,
Yeah.
That was our thing. But the way I grew up has definitely shaped me. Just being able to have so much responsibility at a young age and growing up and becoming kind of like a young man at a young age. I give props to my father and mother because, they raised me to be strong, independent, and to love others and to work hard in anything I do. So I think the way I was raised definitely had an effect on me, and it definitely shaped the way I am. And I love them all for it. I love my friends because they were there. But it's definitely a great thing. And then when you look back on it, and like I'll probably cry during graduation of my senior night, like when I see my parents there and Coach Barakoff, because I know how much time they put into me and how much like I love them. So it's definitely a thing. But I feel like no matter how you grow up, there's a spot for you anywhere, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No matter how hard your life is, because there's people with a harder life than me, people with way tougher life than me, And so we all have to think that. We all have to, be like, dang, like wake up the next day and just go back at it, because there's going to be a lot of days where it sucks. You know what I mean? There's going to be a lot of days where you're like, I hate today. Like today was horrible. But then what are you going to do when you wake up the next day? Like I heard this great quote. I don't know who it's by. I saw that Chris Godwin, the receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, tweeted it, and he said that, if you had $86,400 and someone took $10 of that, would you flip out? Also, you're like, no, I still have $86,390. And he's like, well, you have 86,400 seconds in a day. And if someone takes 10 seconds of your time, is that going to ruin the rest of your day? That's how I look at it, man. Every day it's a grind. Every day, Jay, it's a grind, my boy. Every day, just keep your head on straight, love others. That's my message. Like, love other people, treat everybody equally with mutual respect, and that agape love. You know what I mean? That's what I pride myself in.
Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe, and share. And here's a video YouTube recommends for you. Peace.